In this video, I'm in Biesbosch in the Netherlands to drive a car that was designed and built by Italians, but finished by Americans. This car has clocked up more miles than most people. So let me introduce you to the fascinating world of the Cadillac Allanté. So in the 1980s, Cadillac was looking to compete against cars such as the Mercedes-Benz R107, one of which I drove fairly recently. They needed something sporty and sleek, and they slightly insulted their own designers by saying, we shall go and get the Italians to do it. And this is what Pininfarina came up with. It's a very sleek convertible. It's got the hood hidden by a plastic cover here on the back. It's got the most red interior you can possibly imagine. Even the boot is red. And these remarkable rear lights, complete with the badges laid dramatically into them. Even the high-level brake light is quite a designer point. So very, very Italian-esque styling, but still with that Cadillac identity. It ties in with the Eldorado on which it's mechanically based. Around the front, it's got a minimized Cadillac grille and other lights hidden in the bumper below here. I think it is a deliciously 1980s bit of styling. It's got these strange little nipples on the headlamps, which are usually to work with headlamp wipers, but we don't think they ever had any. So that's slightly peculiar. But the most peculiar thing of all is how these were made. So a kit of parts would be sent from Detroit, Michigan to Pininfarina in Italy, and they would start making the car. So Pininfarina built the body, installed the wiring and such that had been sent from Detroit, and then the fully finished body with all the paint done, all the interior done, the folding hood would then be flown to Detroit, Michigan in a Boeing 747, in fact 56 at a time, if you can imagine. And then they'd be finally assembled. Subframes go in, engine, gearbox, etc. All done by Cadillac in Michigan. And initially there were issues. They were not built particularly well, and the hood mechanisms would leak. But they did get on top of those production worries, and still didn't sell very many. So a lot of work for no apparent gain. But what was a disaster yesterday can be so much fun today, as I like to repeatedly state here. And this is certainly one of the more interesting vehicles I've ever driven. So we'll open the bonnet and have a look at the power plant. So anyone who's not used to Cadillac might be slightly surprised by this, but we have a transverse V8 engine. Quite unusual to us Europeans if you're not a Volvo fan. 4-speed automatic gearbox and some very interesting accessory belt routing. Look at that, serpentine belt goes all around these gubbins. We've got power steering, air conditioning, etc. Absolutely everything going on. This is a 4.1 litre V8. It produces 170 brake horsepower and 235 pound-foot of torque, and maximum power is produced at about 4,500 revs. So on paper, this is the worst possible sports car there has ever been. I'm not sure that necessarily translates to the driving. They did later enlarge the engine to 4.5 litres, and then for the final year of production they fitted the North Star V8, which I think had 4 valves per cylinder. They made a load of improvements in 1993 for what ended up being the final year of production. It was a good year for production. They sold 4,600 units that year. It's considerably more than they had done in the years leading up to it. But still, they cancelled the project. Mercedes-Benz revealed the R129 Mercedes in 1989, and I think they felt they could no longer compete, which is a shame because there is much to love here, as we shall soon find out. Moving inside, look at this. You got memory electric seats, leather was compulsory, interesting seat belts that seem to pull both from here and from here as well. So slightly peculiar system going on. A very Cadillac steering wheel, and if I slide myself in, look at this remarkable bank of things, including cassette player. Oh, it's electric release, so your cassettes just go in here and you can watch them going round. Unfortunately, this one's broken and you can't turn the volume down, but you know, there you go. Driver information center, electronic climate control. It's got it all going on. You've got on this side, this is your wiper control, so you got a mist function just for a flick wipe, and unfortunately rather too far away from the steering wheel, so you can't operate any of this without removing your hand. And then you slide it away to change the delay, low, high, wash, headlamp wash, electric mirrors, cruise control, which I can confirm does work. And over this side you got a flimsy indicator stalk that almost feels like that out of a Citroen 2CV or a Fiat or something. You got interior panels you can change, and you've got Cadillac's Twilight Sentinel automatic headlamps as well as indicators. That's your indicator noise, I'm afraid. No tick tock here. Fog lights and parking lights. Down here we've got the parking brake, and yes, I'm wearing sandals, I'm not even sorry, and 2 pedals. That's all you need. And then here is the automatic gear lever selector. We've got a little ashtray down here, 12-volt power outlet, a lockable cubby, presumably so you can actually lock stuff away, an armrest as well, a bit of storage here in the back, and glamorous Allante on the dashboard, and plenty of vents for your air conditioning. And I quite like the way the dash top swoops into the doors. I think that's quite a nice touch. It's all a little rough and ready in places, but it's worth pointing out that the owner paid half the price of a good Allante for this one. So that's why some items are held together with tape. That's fine, it's Hubnut, we do not mind this at all. Cruise control buttons just here. You can adjust the steering wheel rake angle, and we've got a fully digital dashboard. If I grab the key, we should be able... I've got the door open, it's a bit upset. Look, you can hear that, it's like a physical bong. There we go. Won't even let me turn the key until we've done that. And look at that, full digital dashboard display. I'm not wearing my seatbelt, so now it's bonging at me. How cool is that? Have you ever seen anything more 1980s? You can put the display off when you've got the lights on, and it goes into a night mode. But as you can probably already hear, it is an engine with a certain amount of joyous noise about it. It sounds absolutely tremendous. Even when you're just sat stationary, it's absolutely glorious. So we'll have a quick peek in the boot, and then we'll get on our way. There we go. And there is a pretty decent sized boot. It goes quite a long way back, and is quite deep as well. Very high lip to get in, but you know, even this is beautifully carpeted. How often do you see a beautifully carpeted trunk lid, as they say in that there America? So we've already established that this car makes a very pretty noise, but what's it actually like to drive? Well, put her into drive and we'll go and find out. And mostly it's all about the waft and Vauxhall Corsas getting in your way. This car just makes the most beautiful noise. It's like the bass pipes of a pipe organ almost. It's such a deep noise, and the road holding is surprisingly good. I suppose it should be. It's front wheel drive, it should feel pretty secure, but it somehow manages to be more nimble than I actually anticipated. Of course, as you'd expect for an American car, comfort is absolutely key. Big, fat, supportive seats. Really, really nice. And nice head restraint back there as well. And yeah, it's just very comfortable. This car just burbles along. I'm now just tickling the throttle, and we're doing 60 kilometers an hour. And you take your foot off, it doesn't seem to slow down at all. It just maintains its momentum. And given that this car's, one of this car's key rivals was the R107 Mercedes-Benz, I think this is better. I think I prefer this. I'm just going to put the passenger window up to try and reduce the wind effect just a bit. There we go, much better. Pop the sun visors up to deflect the air a little more. And yeah, it's just a relaxing car. We are doing over 60 kilometers an hour. It's 40 miles an hour at 1200 RPM. And another bridge coming up. Just swing it round. But as nimble as it isn't really a car about going fast. It's about just settling back with the torque. It's Sunday here in the Netherlands. This is a day for relaxing and taking it easy. But it's a very, very pleasant way of traveling. We've done quite a lot of miles to get to this location, Biesbosch in the Netherlands, and primarily just so we could have a lovely drive. We used the cruise control going down the motorway. Gets a bit windswept at motorway speeds. Oh, rollerbladers, cool. Oh, this is a lovely way to travel. It may seem odd, thinking, why would it be front wheel drive? Why not rear? But in truth, there is precious little advantage to rear wheel drive here. This isn't an all out and out sports car, and I don't think anyone would really want it to be. That indicator beep is absolutely annoying. But we'll come to a standstill and we can do a from 0 to 60 sort of a test. Yeah, we're not getting up to 60. That was 80 kilometers an hour, which is 50 miles an hour. And it's not bad given its fairly lowly power output. 170 brake horse is not a lot, but of course it's more a story of torque. V8s are all about the torque, and this engine has plenty of it. But the LCD dashboard, a little hit by the sunlight, making it a little difficult to read, but it actually works really well. There's definitely worse digital displays out there, and it reacts pretty quickly as well. It just reminds me of childhood toys that had this sort of thing going on. It's yeah, almost all uncanny. But I'm just going to pause for a moment. No one behind us, because we've got some important business to do here. We've got to do this. Oh, apparently we have no screen wash. The Dutch apparently not keen on screen wash, but there you are. Good wiping performance, good overlap, and then the wipers sink away down the bottom again. Back into drive, and oh, just lovely. No matter what speed you do in this car, it sounds absolutely magnificent. But yeah, I mean, there are buttons absolutely everywhere. Imagine trying to find the button you want in a hurry in the dark. Must be quite the experience. But yeah, it's a lovely car. Just that muted V8 rumble. But chuck it into a bend and it handles tidily. It's got power rack and pinion steering, which puts it ahead of quite a lot of contemporaries, I think. This is my kind of car, all the V8 and none of the power. But you have to ask yourself, what on earth were they thinking? Just imagine the production car costs involved with flying bits of car. About 14,000 miles there and back again. And then if the car was sold in Europe, it'd have to go even further. Lunacy. Delicious, beautiful sounding lunacy. I love white elephants, and this must be one of the whitest out there. It's on a par with a Citroen SM, I think. Beautiful sounding lunacy. Oh, here comes the bends. Chuck it in. Oh, I tell you what, this handles way better than I expected. But yeah, some of the build quality isn't superb, but that's probably to be expected, to be honest. It's a mixture of Italian and American. There is a bit of a rattle. We don't really know what it is. We're just trying to ignore it. That's fine. The ABS is a bit clunky and not working very well as well. That's fine. Oh yeah, I do love a V8. I don't want a powerful V8. That HSV Maloo I drove, that was too much power. This makes all the right noises without being daft fast, and I think I like it all the more because of that. Oh, you can hear it working the tyres hard. But yeah, nonetheless, it handles very tidily indeed. Plenty of body roll, but... Oh, look at this, motorbike and sidecar coming on. Yeah, this is fun on a road where the speed limit is fairly low. The Netherlands doesn't have high speed limits on these single carriageway roads. Yet I'm still having enormous fun. Oh, just so joyous. And the ride is actually really good. Later ones had selectable dampers, so you could adjust the ride comfort. But this is like keeping it simple. This is a fairly early one, first year of production. And I like it a lot. It's so lazy when you want it to be lazy, and then when you put your foot down it just makes all the right noises. But even just pottering around it just burbles so sweetly. So a rival for Mercedes-Benz, ultimately this car was not. But a fantastic bit of very odd production history it certainly is, and it's a very pleasant drive today.